Hi, I'm Siobhan Troy-Carranza, one of the senior teachers here at Tranquil Space, and we're going to be talking about this month's asana of the month, which is Padahastasana. So it's a forward fold, so it's a good pose, one to help open the back of the hamstrings, or to open the hamstrings, so especially from all the sitting that we tend to do in our daily lives and at work. So this is a really good pose for that. And don't worry, those of you that are a little tighter in the back of the legs, there are ways you're going to be able to modify it to kind of make it good for you. So the first thing you want to make sure that's happening is the placement of your feet. So unlike Tadasana, where we usually start for our sun salutations, where you have big toe mounds together and heels slightly apart, we're going to actually have our feet open hip distance. And something I like to point out and joke around with my classes is your hips are not as wide as you think they are. So you want to think about where your pelvis is, so your actual pelvic bone, and that's hip distance. So for me, that is hip distance for me, okay? So that's where you want to start. Then it's hinging from our hips, just like you would any other standing forward fold. And what we're going to do is, there's a few variations. You can either just place your hands down, maybe on blocks if you're a little tighter and your hands don't reach the floor. You can grab big toes, or there's a variation where you put your hands actually under your feet. So there's a few different variations. Make it what will you do will depend on how you're feeling that day. So I am not particularly Gumby-like in the back of my legs, so I'm going to show you what it looks like in my body. So once again, we're going to fold, hinging from our hips, so that we come down so that our back of the legs are doing the work instead of our lower back. So right now, in this point, this is my forward fold. So what I would probably do is go ahead and grab my big toes. It's usually middle finger and index finger, a yoga toe hold. We inhale, lengthen, and for me right now, what's wise is to bend my knees so I can get a long spine. And then as I exhale, I can fold and maybe work towards straightening the legs, okay? So when I'm feeling more open, maybe later in a practice, what we can do is step on our feet. This is also a great way to release your wrists if your wrists are starting to feel a little tweaky. And literally you put the weight into your hands. So it's once again an inhale, lengthen. We want a long spine. So for me right now, I definitely got to bend my knees. And then I'm going to exhale and fold. So we inhale, create space in the spine. And we exhale and fold. Okay, so a few different ways you can do it. As I said, if you're a little tighter, hands on blocks can be really great if your hands don't reach the floor. You can always bend your knees, because if you do have lower back issues, bending your knees can be very helpful to make sure the opening is happening in the back of the legs versus your lower back. So that is Padahastasana, a great forward fold, standing forward fold pose. And in the hot summer months, it can also, like all forward folds, be a cooling pose. So it's a good one to include in your practice. So enjoy and let your hamstrings get a little more space this month.